Good morning. And welcome to the 9th Annual Constitution Day Conference here at the beautiful Ronald Reagan Presidential Library and Museum. We are so excited you're here to gain resources and ideas and inspiration to commemorate September 17th, the signing of the United States Constitution. And FYI, September 17th has added significance this year because it will be the official launch of the long-awaited College, Career, and Civic Life C3 Framework for Social Studies State Standards. So get ready for that. What Common Core has done for reading and mathematics, what Next Gen has done for science, the C3 Framework will do for us. So we're very excited. To kick off this wonderful day, we have two fine Americans here who are outstanding in their careers and contributions to this American democracy. They're going to lead us in the pledge. Their names are Leah and McKenna Penny, right here. They're going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. And following them will be the Royal High School Vocal Ensemble, led by their director, Bonnie Grave. So, Ms. Penny and Ms. Penny, would you please lead us in this momentous occasion?
Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
How marvelous. Thank you so very, very much. It's not nice to make us teary so early in the morning. It was just beautiful, just beautiful. Well, I can't tell you how excited we are today, and I want you to take a moment to look at the front of your program. We have been doing this event for 9 years, and back in the day we had some more funding, and now we have virtually none. But because this event is so important to you, to our country, and to us, these wonderful people on the front have put effort year after year to put this together. And so I just want to, and you'll hear from them too. The Arcelin Foundation is the primary funder of this. We'll be introducing Christian in just a moment. The Center for Civic Education is a wonderful partner. Maria Gallo and John Hale are here somewhere, so thank you right here. Be sure you thank them for their hard work. Constitutional Rights Foundation, Damon Huss, Carrie Doggett, Damon is here helping with registration. Be sure you thank them. And of course, the Annenberg Presidential Learning Center. Tony's going to give a few opening remarks. I have to just make a personal note, and I'm ever so grateful to the folks where I work, which is the Los Angeles County Office of Education. I am so thrilled and honored to have our board member here today, Mr. Doug Boyd. Would you please stand and say hello to everyone? Because without our leadership at LACO, we cannot participate in the way that we do. My own division, led by Raynette Sanchez and Yvonne Contreras, are just amazing leaders in this as well. We are honored this year with some folks all the way from Washington, D.C. Mr. Ted McConnell is here. He's the executive director of the Campaign for the Civic Mission of Schools. Wave, say hello. He has a session later, and he will be joined with Ms. Kristen Campbell, who's from the National Conference on Citizenship, all the way from Washington, D.C. We have other fabulous leaders in the field, Ms. Karen Korematsu, the daughter of Fred T. Korematsu from the Fred Korematsu Institute for Civil Rights and Education. Erin Braun is here representing iCivics, Sandra Day O'Connor's program. You know that program quite well. She has a session. And you look through the program, you'll see some amazing pieces. Mindy Farmer is here from the Nixon Presidential Library doing a session, so that's very, very exciting too. All right, so we're going to move quickly. I want to give Christian the mic a few minutes because he is the primary funder of this event for today, and so thank you, Christian, and to the Arslan program for helping us be here. So come say a few words if you will.
Good morning, everyone. I wanted to thank all of you for coming today, and I had hoped to bring my two 5-year-old daughters who were very much looking forward to doing the Pledge of Allegiance for maybe the 6th time in their lives. They had their first flag assembly about a week ago. They just started kindergarten, but they are deathly ill today, so I apologize for not bringing them. This is an exciting event, and we've been participating with LACO and with Michelle and the Southern California Social Science Association and recently the Reagan Library for a number of years now on the Constitution Day event. It is pretty special, and it is great to see so many people come every year. This year we have over 200 participants. I remember our first sessions in Pasadena were smaller, and we have grown each year, and the event has improved each year as we've gotten great presenters and are able to provide great content for the teachers that come to this event. Teaching the Constitution is really important to me personally because, well, of what I do for a living, which is to try and encourage young people to participate in the political process. It's the goal of the Arslan program. It is a job I've been working at for over a decade now. I'd like to say with some success. I know that the programs that we run, the simulation elections and events like this, have had good feedback, and I am still in contact, thanks to things like Facebook, Twitter, and other social networks, with the students who participated in the civic engagement programming I offer. But what I've found throughout my work is that it is teachers that are the most important contact point I have with students. I can't do any of the work that I do without access to teachers who are excited about teaching the Constitution, which is why I find events like today so special. I get to engage with teachers who are as excited about getting young people involved in the political process and learning about the history of the political process as I am. And as I said, that's pretty special. So thank you all for coming today, and I look forward to meeting some of you throughout today's presentations. And I'd like to thank Michelle for putting this together, as always. And I'd like to thank Tony and Janet from the Reagan Library for helping us get the space. So thanks, everybody, and let's have a great day.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry they're not feeling well. We'll get them next time. So I want to let Mr. Tony Penny say a few welcoming words. We are so grateful to him and Janet Tran here at the Annenberg Presidential Learning Center. They fall all over themselves to make this a special event. And there's other big events going on today, so we'll have people trickling in. I know parking is a challenge. But thank you again, Tony and Janet, for all you've done for making this a great day.
Excellent. Good morning, everybody. On behalf of Mrs. Reagan, our board of directors, and the entire staff here at the Reagan Foundation and Library, I want to welcome you to Constitution Day. And I want to start off by telling you a little bit of a story of my own kind of civic learning experience that I think ties in very well to today. If we could bring up, the anticipation is killing you, I'm sure. So my story, the first time I became aware of the Constitution as something that existed was in the 4th grade. I had a teacher named Mrs. Sines, and I was in 4th grade in a very big year for the Constitution, which was 1987, which the bicentennial. President Reagan was in office, so there's a kind of a bunch of different connections to what's happening today. And as part of the bicentennial, some of you may remember there's some video footage of thousands and thousands of balloons being released by the Capitol. At our own kind of smaller level at Parkview Elementary School up in San Jose, California, we were going to do a small scale of that. Each of the students was handed a balloon, and the principal said, all right, because the 5th grade students are studying U.S. history, let's have them get up and recite the preamble. Now I had a teacher who said, well, my 4th grade students can do that too. You don't just have to do it with the 5th grade students. And so as some of you might have done, how many of you kind of live by the creed of it's better to ask forgiveness than permission? A couple of you, right? Yeah. So my 4th grade teacher, without informing the administration, said, all right, we're going to practice the preamble until every one of my 4th graders has memorized it. And then when it comes to Constitution Day, our principal's going to ask the 5th graders to stand up and recite it, and you guys just go ahead and stand up too, and you recite it and show them that you did that. In a good cause. So I remember as a 4th grader feeling this kind of mix of fear and excitement, that I had worked really hard to memorize the preamble. So it came time, the principal said, okay, we have our 5th grade to stand up. And all of us stood up. We're kind of looking around. Are we going to get in trouble? And the 5th grade teacher said, oh, no, dears, just the 5th grade. And I remember one of the students in the class kind of turned to her and said, we know it. And so I remember that day very vividly as being kind of my introduction to the Constitution and such an easy way to introduce young kids to the Constitution. So I wonder if you'll indulge me in a communal saying of the preamble of the Constitution. I don't know the protocol for this. I know for the Star-Spangled Banner and the Pledge of Allegiance, everybody stands up, but there's not often kind of a protocol for the reading of the preamble. So I'm going to appeal to a higher justice here. Is it okay if we just sit and read it together? Is that okay? Granted. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. I don't think there's anybody who can overturn that decision. So if you'll join me in a reciting of the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity, do ordain and establish this Constitution for the United States of America. And I love the language in that. I used to teach English too. It's like poetry, right? They're talking about ourselves and our posterity, and here we are 226 years later, reading those same words with the reverence with they were written. And one of the beautiful things about this, there are 2 words in particular that kind of stand out, and I'm going to read from a book called America's Constitution, a biography, that talks about the importance of these 2 words, we do. How many of you are married? Any married folks? You might recognize kind of a version of that, right? And if not, I'm sure you've seen TV shows and are familiar with the phrase, I do. But these words did more than promise popular self-government. They also embodied and enacted it. Like the phrase, I do, in an exchange of wedding vows, and I accept in a contract, the preamble's words actually performed the very thing they described. Thus, the Founders' Constitution was not merely a text, but a deed, a constituting. We, the people, do ordain. In the late 1780s, this was the most democratic deed the world had ever seen. Now, being here in the house of President Reagan, some of you might be wondering, well, what would President Reagan say if he were here about the Constitution? Well, lucky for us, through the marvels of modern technology, we actually have the answer to that question. So I will leave you with a short statement from our favorite president, at least our favorite here.
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty.
In 1987, we celebrated the bicentennial of one of the great milestones in the history of democratic thought and deed, the adoption of our Constitution. 200 years earlier, when our founding fathers signed the official parchment, none of them supposed that they had fashioned a perfect document. But the basic principles on which it is based have stood up to every national need and national peril. It is our blueprint for freedom. Ours was the first revolution in the history of mankind that truly reversed the course of government, and with three little words: we the people. We the people tell the government what to do. It doesn't tell us. We the people are the driver. The government is the car. And we decide where it should go and by what route and how fast. Almost all the world's constitutions are documents in which governments tell the people what their privileges are. Our Constitution is a document in which we the people tell the government what it is allowed to do. We the people are free.
Thank you, Tony. I'm adding that to my resume. I get to follow President Reagan. That's marvelous. Thank you. So let me introduce our two wonderful speakers and leaders of civic learning for the state of California. I'm going to introduce to you Alice Petrosian, and then, of course, our Chief Justice, Tani Gore Cantil-Sacayue. Alice Petrosian, as you know, is the past president of the Association of California School Administrators, a tremendous leader, over 16,000 school administrators in the state of California. She currently serves as the commissioner on the Los Angeles County Commission for Women. In May 2012, was awarded the prestigious Ellis Island Medal of Honor. I know she's so proud of that. In 2013, Chief Justice Cantil-Sacayue appointed Alice to the K-12 Civic Education Task Force, which you'll hear more about. She was also appointed to several state boards and commissions by Governors Jerry Brown, George Dumakian, Pete Wilson, and Gray Davis. Just to name a few, she served as chair of the California Commission for Teacher Credentialing, president of the California Community Colleges Board of Governors, and trustee of the California State University System. For her service to the community, Ms. Petrosian was honored twice as Legislative Woman of the Year in the 43rd Assembly District in 1998 by Assemblyman James Rogan, and in 2008 by Assemblyman Paul Krikorian. In March 2013, she was selected by Senator Carol Liu as the district's Woman of the Year, recognized by ACSA with the Most Outstanding Administrator Award, and in 2011, ACSA elected her as state president of the organization. I can say so much more, but she is a good friend and leader and champion for us for civic learning, and she's going to be up here in just a minute. Let me read the Chief Justice's bio. We'll invite them both to come up, and you can applaud for both of them. We're so thrilled to have Chief Justice Tani Gore Cantil-Sacayue with us today. She was appointed to the California Supreme Court by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger. Following her confirmation hearing and statewide election, she was sworn into office on January 3rd, 2011, as the first Asian, Filipina, American, and the second woman to serve as Chief Justice of the state of California. She chairs the Judicial Council of California, the administrative policymaking body of state courts, and the Commission on Judicial Appointments. Chief Justice Cantil-Sacayue served for more than 20 years on California appellate and trial courts before her appointment to the California Supreme Court. She received her BA with honors, of course, from the University of California at Davis in 1980, her JD from UC Davis School of Law in 1984. These two tremendous leaders of civic learning are paving the way for civic learning to be a part of every child's education in our state of California. We are so thrilled and honored they took time today to be with here and to continue to inspire and lead us. Please join me in welcoming both of them to the stage.
You should go up ahead of me. I have the chair by the
Okay.
American flag.
It's very gracious. Thank you, sweetheart.
Wonderful. We're going to remove this, and then you're good to go. All right.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. What a pleasure it is to see a wide range and diverse group of folks here to celebrate Constitution Day. We are absolutely honored to have our Chief Justice with us. And I know you're all probably wondering, what does it feel like on a given day to be Chief Justice? And I have been told that you have this amazing magic. You wear multiple hats, and you manage to keep them all balanced. Could you share with us, what does it feel like to be the Chief Justice of California and the whole responsibility of being a woman, an Asian, a role model for the youth coming up?
Ooh, that's a big question. Before I answer that, Alice, or attempt to answer it, I first want to say it is my deep honor to be here and share this day with you. Thank you for being here. Thank you to the funders for being here. Thank you for the organizers, to Michelle. I know that great events like this, bringing you together on a Saturday, don't happen serendipitously. It happens because of intent. Thank you. Thank you for your interest. I also want to say it is my deep honor to be questioned and cross-examined by Alice Petrosian. I say that not only because you heard of her impressive resume, but also because she originated the idea of the Civic Learning Award, which we instituted last year, which, if you ask me, has caught flame and has really inspired so many of you and touched the lives of so many students. It's also a pleasure. I thank you, Tony and Janet, for providing these palatial surroundings for us. I think it's just incredibly fitting to be here at the Reagan Presidential Library to celebrate Constitutional Day, to prepare for it. So I want to thank you and let you know that I am thrilled to be here. And I'm happy to have brought my senior daughter, 17 years old, Hannah, with me, who's just beginning to study civics in her senior year, as you all know. But to Alice's question, I feel like you. We live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The way we multitask is we are always on some sort of electronic device. I'm usually on at least 2 of them at a time. And at least the work I do for the California Supreme Court and for the state of California as Chief Justice never ends. It's 7 days a week, and I have a witness, my daughter, who knows I'm happily in my phone as much as she is. I would point out that I do wear 3 hats, which is the nature of the beast of the job. I wear the hat as Chief Justice of the California Supreme Court. 7 justices. I am one of equal of each of my members. I carry the same caseload, handle the same cases, do the same amount of work on the court as any other justice. But as Chief Justice, I also handle the administrative responsibilities of the court, meaning I manage our budget. I handle our personnel. I assign the cases. I handle the calendar. I handle every issue that comes up for the California Supreme Court. As you know, I am complaint central in terms of what happens or what doesn't happen on the California Supreme Court for the cases. I have a tremendous staff of attorneys and clerks and assistants who help me do that. Believe me, this is not a one-woman show. I have so many excellent people who support me that if I didn't have that, it would be impossible. The second hat that I wear virtually on top of the hat as Chief Justice of California is what I do for the Judicial Council. The Judicial Council is the statewide policy-making body for the entire judicial branch. Keep in mind that the judicial branch is 2,000 judicial officers, 18,000 court employees, 58 superior courts, 1 in each county, 6 courts of appeal, and 1 Supreme Court. And on top of that, we're more than just a collection of courts. We are a branch of government. We need a statewide entity. That's the Judicial Council. It was created by Constitution Amendment in 1927, and it is a body. It is a group of people I appoint, and what we do is we do the rulemaking and the policy making for the statewide judicial branch. I chair that council. What that means is we meet regularly to discuss issues of the statewide branch budget, of our administrative office of the courts, our staff of 700. We deal with all of the things that the trial courts cannot do for themselves, and we also keep in mind that our purpose as Judicial Council is to ensure public access, ensure equal access. It's a full-time consuming job that interacts regularly with the executive branch and the legislative branch. The third hat I wear is Chief Justice of California, which is where, if you think of the three branches of government, the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch, that's the hat I wear as Chief Justice of California. And as Chief Justice, I represent California in all of the initiatives facing the state. But I will tell you, just for purposes of here, that I also, as Chief Justice of California, am able to pursue initiatives that I believe better the branch and better the state and provide access. And the pursuit of civic engagement, civic learning, civic education is at the forefront of my interest as Chief Justice of California, which is where I sit today bringing that hat. How do you do it as a woman? How do you do it as a person? With a lot of help, a lot of great help. And I would say as a person, I think as a mother of two, it helps me immensely. I don't do drama. I have two teenage girls. I get it. So when drama's at work or drama's statewide, we put the drama aside, we put the heat aside, let's deal with the merits. We'll get to the heat later, but we generally don't get to it because we're too busy on the merits. So I think I do it a lot like you do it, Alice, a lot like all of you do it. We're constantly juggling.
Well, thank you. I don't think any of us will be complaining about our tasks on a given day, will we? May I ask if you believe or would label yourself an educator sitting here today? Would you stand up? Wow. Let's give you a round of applause. Because thank you. The next question is about your dreams and wishes. You know, as educators, we keep dreaming and hoping and wishing and encouraging our students to reach the highest goals possible, to become all they can be. There must be quite a few proud educators in your background who watch you reach this high level. And there are students in this audience, as well as teachers, who'd love to hear, what was your road? How did you start out? And so we're asking for your background, basically, as you became an attorney and continued on to serve the state of California as Chief Justice.
Thank you, Alice. In reflection, I look back on my childhood. Our childhood is so impressed upon us, but we don't have an opportunity to really contemplate it except almost in retrospection. And so I came from a family where when I was 9, our home was taken over by eminent domain. We lived in an alley, and my family was a family of immigrants. And what I remember early on, my first impressions as a 9-year-old is being forced to leave our house, and my mother going to court unrepresented and losing, and not just losing, but feeling humiliated in the process. And hearing my mother come home and talk about a judge whose name I will not repeat here, but emblazoned in my memory of who it was. And you know, thereafter, growing up, learning that my aunt and uncle couldn't get married in California because he was Filipino and she was French. Learning that my grandparents couldn't hold property in their name because there was some law in California on the books that didn't let them own property. So those kinds of things you hear in the background of your life as you grow older. And then when I got into high school, I got into student government because a teacher encouraged me to get into student government. I still remember him. Mostly I remember him frustrated with me. But I remember that he brought guidance, and he's memorable to me. Mr. Lacoya, who had infinite patience with high school students trying to learn and navigate government and local student government. Thereafter, when I went to a community college, I ran across a teacher, a professor who basically said, I don't want to hear what you can't do. You're too young to know what you can't do. I want you to enroll in everything and try it all. And so I was a kid who never really spoken publicly and never competed in debate, and he put me in every debate class and on the team and in every single category of speech competition. And he said, I don't want to hear what you can't do. You don't know what you can't do. and I went through it all. And that's where I met people who said they're going to law school. And I had remembered meeting a Filipino lawyer through my mother. I didn't know what that was, but to the Filipino community, that was huge. To go to college, to get a law degree, to actually be a lawyer was unheard of. And all of us gathered to actually see this woman, who is now a good friend of mine. And so I think I came to learning that through teachers and through what you lead us to believe about ourselves and how you free us to be ourselves, that we have great opportunity ahead of us. And we don't know what we can accomplish because you release our spirit and allow us to figure it out, and you give us the tools. And so I learned that through education of how things work, particularly how decisions are made, how governments interact, who has the decision-making authority, what are my rights, how do you do this, how can you do this, what is your authority for doing so. I just learned it through the process and became ever more, I think, aware when I became a prosecutor, and I learned how juries didn't really understand the judicial branch, the legislative branch, the law we were working in, our constitutional rights, and it's built ever since then up until now.
And so, there are a number of students in this audience. Would you stand up if you're a student? I think our Chief Justice's message to you is very clear. I hear her saying, try everything, keep going, don't give up, and someday you too will be seated, hopefully right here at the Reagan Library, as either a Chief Justice and, why not, President of the United States with a library named after you. You now have a role model, and you can see it's doable. For those of us who were immigrant children, we have continually looked for role models in our culture, and you certainly have served as a role model for all, not only women, but for all young people seeking the opportunity for growth. In February, you organized the Summit on Civic Education, and ladies and gentlemen, the featured speaker on that panel was our Supreme Court Justice Sandra Day O'Connor, and leaders from throughout the state attended that event. What makes civic learning the priority it is for you? I have now heard you speak 4 times, and each time I am more and more enthralled by your personal commitment to civic education. Tell us why it's so important.
Thank you, Alice. Civics education is important to me, and I view it broadly. I view it as civic engagement, civic exchange, civic understanding, civic teaching, civic learning, and I don't believe you can ever get enough of it. And I think no matter what age you are, you're always learning and can learn some aspect of it. And the reason I'm so I think invested in civics education, especially for young people, is because I see it as the key to understanding the world around you and then giving you the opportunity with that understanding to either be a leader, be a decision maker, make change, or be informed about how you live your life, to be informed in the best possible way. I firmly believe that you need to know your landscape. You need to know your options before you can make a choice, an educated choice. You're making this choice for yourself, for your family, for the future. And it's through civics education and understanding how decisions are made that affect your life, and how, if you disagree with those decisions, or if you support them, how it is you can enhance them, or how it is you can combat them. I mean, when we look at the history of the United States, but even just California, if we look at our history, if we look at world history even now, we realize that the power of our democracy and equal access and fairness and liberty and justice for all doesn't exist. But it will exist if we know how civics, how government works, how decisions are made, how our folks are elected, what they stand for. If we know that, then we can shape it. And we can assure liberty and justice for all of us, and we can protect it. Because once you achieve it, if we ever, doesn't guarantee that we can continue to perpetuate it. It's with civics understanding. It's with an awareness. It's with that knowledge. It's with those tools that you protect our Constitution and protect our democracy and protect your rights and our rights. So some heinous things in history will not repeat themselves, because history will repeat itself under different facts that you will not recognize unless you know civics, unless you know history, unless you know social science, and you are a critical thinker about those objective facts.
And it is with the same passion and commitment that our Chief Justice has joined Tom Torlakson to establish a task force to see how we can make California the leader in civic education. And we're so grateful. If it weren't for your leadership, those of us who live in a world of reality know this task force may have never happened. So on behalf of all of us who have a strong commitment to civic learning, we want to thank you from the bottom of our hearts for taking that leadership.
Well, it's my pleasure. I just want to say I applaud too, because the great ideas that have come to fruition have come as a result of you. The leaders who were introduced at the beginning of this program are the people who bring great ideas. We sit together, I get your ideas, Justice McConnell, Debbie Genzer, we bring in people, we talk about what works, and we take your ideas. You're the experts. I'm just the facilitator, because knowing civics, I realize that a branch of government needs to take this up. And it's your good work, it's your expertise, it's your knowledge, it's the work you've been doing for years that we're just building upon and bragging about, basically.
Thank you. And it was not too long ago, a group of us representing California along with other states, thanks to Mr. Penny, met in this very same room and started to talk about what would allow our state to improve civic education. And from that beginning, where you led off and energized the room and talked about what can happen, California team met, and yes, grateful to have Justice McConnell, and again, thanks to you, and Debbie Genzer, and we sat for a whole day thinking about how much better civic education can be in California. And for a moment, I felt as though we were beating ourselves up, thinking about we just have nothing going on here in California. And then all of a sudden, as a group, we came up with the concept of there are many outstanding schools and educators doing a great deal. And in order to move to the next step of what should be, we need to know what is. And thanks to your willingness to accept the recommendations of that group that met that day, today we have the partnership again with Superintendent Tom Torlakson and yourself. And we are celebrating the Civic Learning Award. And as you've just said, it's become rather popular. In fact, I've met many principals or teachers who've said, wait, I didn't know about it, I would have applied. And my answer is, at least in Los Angeles County, don't you read Michelle's emails? So, tell us about the award and what it means to you and why you've been so supportive of it, because we're about to meet some of these outstanding educators and their students.
I think that the award is genius because what it did was provide an opportunity for schools to showcase their models of civic engagement that could be replicated so we could learn from each other. And we knew that there were out there great programs because all of us have experienced great programs in different schools, either at middle schools, elementary schools, or high schools. So the best way to bring it forward was to send out the email and announce a friendly competition and find out who would come in and tell us and share with us the fun facts of their program. And so you have a combination of a little bit of competition, healthy competition for the right cause, a lot of energy from these amazing teachers who have great ideas, who are, I think, inspiring in their energy. And then we had the excitement and the stardust of students who were doing it for the first time, who are going into the community, learning how the community is integrated and works in order to accomplish a project in the community. And that's the best way that you form bonds. You get to know the city because you have to go get a permit. Then the mayor hears about it, and he or she wants to attend the event. And then you have T-shirts, and you go out and you clean up your community, and people come out of their doors and congratulate the students for it. It's a win-win all around. There is no downside to participating in this. It's a win-win. And most of all, in my mind, it's the kind of memory that stays with you forever. The students who participate in these civics models throughout the high schools, they will remember this. Throughout their entire life, they will remember it. And it will inform them about what they can do as an individual and what they needed to accomplish and what they did for a community. It's a sense of pride. It's self-actualization. So I could go on and on about that. But I won't. But I'll just say that it was a genius idea. And it brought together a synergy of positive energy. And we will continue to do it. And it educated all of us, every single one of us. And I visited some of the schools. And I know one of them is here. Two of them are here that I visited. I cannot tell you how completely different their programs were, but both were spectacular across the board. And I know that the others here were equally fabulous. And it inspired me and made me believe that I'm a steward. I will not be here forever, thankfully. And someone else will take this spot. And they are the future leaders. And they know how to galvanize a community. This is a tremendous award. It's a great idea. And it was so positive. I've never seen so many judges volunteer and call me up because they wanted to go to the school and give the award. I don't get volunteers. I have to call people up and draft them. This was something.
And I think that's what's been special. It wasn't just a win for those of us in education, but it was the partnership that began with the whole judicial system and the judges in the system that have come out to the schools. From what I've heard from Deborah and Justice McConnell, there's actually been partnerships established in their local areas, and that's taking it to a whole other level that we didn't even think about or dream about. So thank you for your support. Can we join in thanking our Chief Justice for being here today? You know, to all the young people in the room, role models don't always have to be older than you. I consider our Chief Justice a role model for me. And I hope you will get an opportunity to read more about her work and her commitment to youth in California. We thank you sincerely.
Thank you. Thank you for your work. Thank you.
And now, the privilege and pleasure of meeting our wonderful 2013 Civic Learning Award winners. And please note that they're in alphabetical order. So Lyons Judy Ivy Burton Tech Academy, Los Angeles.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
My name is Jesus Santana, and I'm the current president of Burton Tech. Now, civil learning is very important to us here at our school because it takes everyone in order for the whole establishment of our student government to work. It doesn't work if no one is participating, if no one is voicing their opinions, because everyone has to deserve what they have to say. Our student government is called Burton's Bureau. Now, before Burton's Bureau, we had 4 different committees for 4 different grades. That separated the school entirely, in which no one really wanted to work with each other and had a little hostility towards one another with a little grade competition. What the Bureau did was it united everyone as a whole. So it was a more centralized government in which each grade had their own senators, and the president, vice president, and everyone else in the cabinet had to be elected through the school as a whole. And what that did was it allowed for a greater sense of unity in which it's not just for the seniors, it's not just for the sophomores, juniors, or freshmen, but it's for the school as a whole. We know that it's a great great opportunity to vote, to voice your opinion, because it's a great responsibility to know what you want, to ask for what you want, and to speak up for it. Now, last year, I ran for vice president, and I lost by a single vote. Everyone was shocked, but they now have a great understanding of how important it is to vote, because everyone's voice matters. Now, even though I lost, I know it's really important that everyone had the opportunity to vote and had their voices and opinions heard. My name is Jesus Santana, and thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Johan De La Rosa. I'm now an alumni from Burden Tech. And well, about 8 months ago, thanks to from the guidance of Ms. Felix, my civics teacher, I had the opportunity to organize a community cleanup where about 200 volunteers from students and parents showed up. I was really nervous because it was on a rainy day, and I was scared that nobody would show up, but in the end, everything turned out great. About 10 tons of trash were picked up.
Wow.
And everybody loved it. Thanks to the Bureau, we had the chance to reach out to our local stores around our community, and also the police department that serves our community. What I learned from this experience was a lot, because before this, I really didn't actually care. But thanks to the help of Ms. Felix, she turned me around, and I really appreciate that. Now, even though I graduated from the school, I go back sometimes and help out Jesus with the upcoming community cleanup, because that's what I initially wanted it to do, to be an annual thing. And well, yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And now Brawley Union High School, all the way from Brawley, California.
Good morning. She is Elisa Lizárraga and Alonso Mata. I am Berenice Velázquez. In 2010, I started school in the United States. That same year, I met Mr. Flores, my civics teacher. He will be the person who took a group of bilingual students to make a commitment with their community in the first bilingual civics class in Brawley Union High School. This impacted me because it was a class and a club that went beyond the textbook. We were mentored by role models from the City Council, court system, and State Senate. Being a recent immigrant from Mexicali, Mexico, I am now empowered to become a naturalized citizen and involve my family with community events. As a club and class, we learn how to give back our community. We help by volunteering with voting registration drives. We walked around to not only register people to vote, but also to remind them on the actual date of voting. Through the year, we also had many fundraisers to award seniors with college scholarships. These seniors use the scholarships to pay for college tuition and room and board. Americans are seen as people who always volunteer and love always willing to give to their community. This is a country that allows citizens to flourish. As Americans, we always strive for a brighter future. I end with a quote from Ronald Reagan.
Appropriate.
While a constitution may set forth rights and liberties, only the citizens can maintain and guarantee those freedoms. Active and informed citizenship is not just a right, it is a duty. Thank you.
And now Centennial High School, Bakersfield, California.
Good morning, everyone. We're from Centennial High School, and every senior at Centennial High School participates in a civic education program called We the People. And We the People is sponsored by the Center for Civic Education. And it engages students in informal classroom discussion of 6 areas of the US government and the Constitution. And for their final at the end of the year, all seniors have to participate in simulations of congressional hearings. And in this activity, the students, they provide testimony on a specific subject of the US government or the Constitution. And then a group of mock congressmen and congresswomen ask them questions regarding that subject matter. And now students are forced to act on their feet and provide critical analysis and critical thinking for these subject matters and these questions. This program really allows students to become more open to civic knowledge and gain the skills necessary for when they graduate to take out into the society around them and to really implement as effective citizens.
And a number of students in Centennial High School participate in a program called Mock Trial. We practice at least 5 hours a week, and we placed top 4 out of 6 of the 7 years that we've been competing. And last year was our first year competing at the state competition in Riverside. Mock Trial not only teaches us about the legal system and about the rules of evidence in using in a case, but it also teaches us about public speaking and teamwork, and most importantly, skills of life and thinking on your feet.
At Centennial, every senior participates in a civic virtue project. We are required to complete 16 hours of community service, but it goes much further than that. We research our organization, write reports on it, and even rate it based on how well it aids the community. At the end of the year, we present a PowerPoint or poster board presentation based on our civic virtue experience.
Every 2 years at Centennial High School, we hold a mock election. And the mock election entails both the propositions and the possible candidates for California, and whenever it's a 4-year increment for the presidential election. This program is for grades 10 through 12 in their social studies classes. We are provided with an easy voter's guide when we go over the various propositions and candidates in detail. When the elections are emailed to all the teachers and the ballots are collected, and the results are compared with the nationwide results and the statewide results, and we go into great detail and depth in discussion. Thank you.
Thank you. Isn't it amazing? Look at public speaking. I'm sitting here thinking, oh my goodness, could I have done what they are just doing? Frontier High School, Camarillo, California.
Welcome. Good morning. My name's Mia Belante, and this right here is Alex Reyes, and we're from Frontier High School. Frontier High School has overcome many obstacles to earn this award. As a continuation school, us students weren't used to immersing ourselves in extra schoolwork, but we did. I remember there was a lot of self-doubt at first, but we didn't think we had a chance against other schools in our county, especially the private schools, but we did. We overcame many of our own personal hurdles and entered this competition. We spent hours upon hours training for the real deal. We scrimmaged against the very schools that we felt inferior to. But were we inferior? No. We gave them our best and left them with a few questions. We were a lot more capable than we had ourselves believing.
Amen.
We were a strong team. My teammates were very supportive. And once we got our acts together, we were like a well-oiled machine. We were taught a deeper understanding of our legal system by being a part of the process. We got a first-hand experience of what it's like to be in the courtroom, some as witnesses, some as courtroom clerks, others as lawyers. Once the competition came, we did well and impressed several judges. We presented our intellect, but we also showed an amazing amount of heart. I felt like we were different, like our camaraderie was stronger than any other teams. We may not have won the competition, but we won an experience that changed our lives. We may not have been perfect, but we may not have been perfect, but we did our best and still provided character. We were different, and we finally got a taste of our potential. I became a better citizen through this experience by continuing my learning and productivity. I became a very productive student. I participated in several extracurricular activities and earned the title of valedictorian. I then continued and obtained a job at a law firm as a clerk. I gained the self-confidence I needed to see that I'm not lesser than anyone else, and I have the potential to be a respectable member of society. And with that confidence, I did become a better citizen.
Wow.
Thank you.
And that's part of the awards, the diversity of schools to be celebrated. Frontier is followed by Golden Valley High School, Bakersfield, California.
Good morning, everyone. I'm a senior at Golden Valley High School. My name is Edgardo Campos, and I am very
Hold the mic closer.
I am very humbled to speak in front of our distinguished guests.
Hello, my name is Christian Romo, and I'm also from Golden Valley High School, the best high school in Bakersfield.
Golden Valley High School. You've probably never heard of it until today. What does this fairly average high school have to do with civic education? Well, if you're a student at Golden Valley High School, you're required to take a mandatory government class. But our civic education goes way beyond a required government class. It inspires, motivates, and propels students into a career within our government. I should know because I am the result of Golden Valley's focus and determination to civic education. Last year, I had the pleasure of competing at a county level in our mock trial program. With the guidance of our attorney coach, we had a formidable team by competition time. We went to the competitions with the highest of hopes and the highest of expectations for ourselves. We didn't win. In fact, we only won one of our trials. You would think that our crushing defeat would denigrate our attitude, our mindset, and progression towards a career in government. It did the exact opposite. And myself, I became so enthused and excited with our mock trial program that I decided I would pursue a career in law. As our mock trial team starts up again, as our We the People team begins writing their speeches, as our Project Citizen teams begin tackling contemporary and local issues, the collective minds of Golden Valley High School students begin considering a career in government, and our school's determination and dedication towards civic education has paid off.
Good morning, everyone. Not only do we have a great civic education program at Golden Valley, but we also emphasize on being civically virtuous and the importance of helping others. We have lots of clubs on campus that help out in the community, and one of the largest and most notable campus clubs is the Interact Club. The Interact Club goes out into the community and does trash pickups and paints over graffiti, and we have annual pancake breakfast for the homeless, and you donate time and money to charities, and we do lots of community events to help everyone out in the community. And also, as my colleague was mentioning, we have Project Citizen, where we go out and into the community and find an issue that we believe we could fix. And for weeks, we research the issue and try to find a solution that's good for everyone. So, thank you.
Thank you. What gentlemen you guys are. Thank you. John Burroughs High School, Burbank, California. We must have been on the freeway together.
So my name is Chris Van Dam. We're part of the junior state chapter of John Burroughs High School. What the junior state is, it's broken into 3 different levels. There's a state level, which we have 10 junior states in the United States, and that has its own student-run government. Everything in junior state is student-run. Then we have regions under that, 3 regions in the Southern California state. Then we have the chapter level, which is us, how we applied. And we also have our own leadership within each school. I had a friend who once told me that no matter where you are in education, it's all about how you use what you're studying to work with people. And in the junior state, that's kind of what we learn. We learn more about how we could work with people to fight for what we believe in, and to use that to not just say what we need to do, but to actually do it. It was told before that we are the driver's vehicle and the government is the vehicle in which we use to make change. But isn't it also true that we could use ourselves and our own legs to make change? That means that we have to pull people along with us, and that's what leadership is. That's what we need in this country, students who can make leaders. And that's what we could do in each level of JSA and provide that for students.
Good morning. My name is Edward Yoon from Junior State of America, and what our chapter has done so far is a lot of great things. We have had a tremendous amount of guest speakers come to our chapter and share a wealth of knowledge about their fields in government. We've had the LA County Supervisor Michael Antonovich, United States Representative Adam Schiff, and in about a couple weeks we'll be having the California State Controller John Cheng, the Secretary of State Deborah Bowen, and the Board of Equalization member Betty Yee.
Wow.
So through these guest speakers and civic engagement in our community, we try to spread the knowledge of government to our schools, and through involvement and through our individual efforts, like how Chris Van Dam said, we try to promote civic education. And yeah, thank you very much for this great opportunity.
Thank you. Thank you, boys. Royal High School, Simi Valley, California.
Right now.
Know the feeling, not to worry.
Okay, hi. My name is Melissa Miller, and I'm a junior at Royal High School. As a junior, I'm at a point in my life right now where pretty much the only topic of discussion is my future. I used to be intimidated by it, but now due to the partnership between Royal and the Ronald Reagan Library, I have confidence of a rewarding future. There are many attributes to this partnership that have benefited me that I could list, but this speech is only designed to be about 2 minutes. One of the major programs that this partnership has to offer is the Ronald Reagan Citizen Scholar Institute Diplomacy Seal. As high school students, we're competing internationally for a spot in college. The seal will not only extremely help my chances of getting into college, but the requirements of the seal will also benefit me as a student through the process of civic learning. The 5 primary benefits of civic learning are that civic learning promotes civic knowledge, skills, dispositions, and participation. It promotes civic equality, and it builds 21st century competencies. Civic learning also improves school climate, and it reduces the dropout rate. As well as the diplomacy seal, the partnership also provided a new room on the Royal High campus called the CSI room. Within the CSI room, there are 4 areas of educational focus: individual liberty, global economy, national pride, and economic opportunity. Another benefit of this room are the guest speakers who come and visit us. With the endless opportunities that this unique, one-of-a-kind partnership offers me, I am so fortunate and thankful to the Ronald Reagan Library for providing me a leg up in my future.
Thank you. And last but not least, San Marino High School, San Marino, California.
Hi everyone, my name is Fionn Lamb and I'm the student body president of San Marino High School. Of all the wonderful civics opportunities at San Marino High School, the one that's impacted me the most would have to be student government. As a third-year student government member, I've learned many leadership skills that are not taught in our regular classrooms. Of all these skills, the one I find that are most important would have to be communication skills, leadership skills, and confidence skills. Without these traits, I would not be the person I am today. I believe that confidence and success is not based on how well a person scores on a test or how they work in a classroom setting. Instead, I believe success is based on how people are able to communicate in the real world and lead with confidence in themselves, which is why I am so blessed and thankful to have all the opportunities I've been given at San Marino High School.
Hi, my name is Rachel Linton, and I'm a junior at San Marino High School. I'm primarily involved in 2 civics learning programs at San Marino High School, mock trial and speech and debate. Many of our members are involved in both programs, and I think that this is incredibly important because it allows students to not only gain the public speaking skills that they need, but also learn to apply them and how they can use them as they grow into adults and get involved in their communities. Mock trial has inspired me to study law, and speech and debate has helped me learn more about the world around us through extemporaneous speaking and Lincoln Douglas debate.
My name is Haley Thompson, and I am currently the editor-in-chief of Titan Shield, the student-run newspaper at San Marino High School. Out of all the outstanding civic learning opportunities afforded to me at this high school, I would say the one that impacted me the most was my journalism class. Titan Shield is the link between high school and the very real world I will be taking head-on in the coming years. Individuals that take this class walk away able to express their opinions about controversial subject matter, able to communicate with others face-to-face, able to understand the importance of teamwork in all arenas of life. And most importantly, individuals that take this class are able to be a part of something great, something San Marino High School could offer them. Public high schools are the perfect environment for engaged, informed discussion and participation in civic and democratic life. At San Marino High School, opportunities abound. And what better place to learn about the great, important rights of a free democracy than working for a school newspaper? Thank you.
Thank you, ladies. I hope that we can all join and give a standing ovation to the young people who just spoke to you, representing all 22 awardees. And I sincerely hope that you, all of you here, will volunteer, talk to Deborah Ginzer. Debbie, would you stand up for a second? About helping us pass the word on the awards and making certain that we have hundreds of high schools who have quality programs apply for this award. But more important, offer yourself as a possible reader of, as we grow the program, we're going to need more readers on these program applications. Let Debbie know if you're interested in being a part of a vision that we hope will take over California. We hope this competition grows to a level at which every high school aspires to have the award from one of our judicial leaders. But wouldn't it be wonderful to have the Chief Justice, as she did this year, be the one to give your high school the award? And with that, we want to thank you profusely, allow you the last word, and close this session.
Well, thank you, Alice. I am overwhelmed by the array of talent and the development of teenagers that I've just seen on the stage. But I also know that that can only happen because of you. It's educators, it's teachers who bring the light out of these students. And I look at that, and I think of our future, and I think how quickly time goes by, and I know that California will be in good hands because of the work you do in developing these students to be our next civic leaders to preserve our democracy in California. And we all do our little bit that we can to continue to further this cause. But I want to especially thank those of you who've been in the trenches of civic learning and civics education for many, many years. This is the 9th year celebration. And I'm so grateful that you persevered, that you're here, that you have so many quality programs that you provide for all of us. If you decide to become more involved in civic learning, there's a host of resources that have been made available by the good work of these many people. So I thank you for your effort, for your investment, and for being here today. It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What a great leader they have in you. Oh, I love you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you to both of you so very, very much. We are so thrilled to be part of that. I'm going to ask Maria and Damon and Janet and Christian. I want you to see this really is a joint effort. And please indulge us. Please take a seat for a minute. We have a few logistical things, and then we're going to send you off. So thank you so much. First of all, you heard about the wonderful programs. We have exhibits here from the Center for Civic Education, the Annenberg Presidential Learning Center, and our own Southern California Social Science Association, the affiliate member of the California Council for the Social Studies and National Council for the Social Studies, right? You're all going to join by the end of today. So please visit these tables to get some things, a couple other logistical things. In your program, you notice there's a session there for Dr. Joe Kahn. Unfortunately, we have to cancel that. He fell ill and is not able to be with us today. And if you are eligible for one of the teacher stipends, please be sure, and this is important, that you sign out at the end of the day. At the end of the day at 3:30, you're also so privileged to be able to have a self-guided tour of the wonderful Lincoln exhibit, which the Reagan Library has sponsored and waived entrance fee for us today. Be sure that you do that. We have lunch in there, and I know Tony has some logistical things, but I want you to see. Where's Maria? Maria, come up here. I want them to see your face, and thank you guys again for organizing. This is a great team that we've been working with all year, so we can't thank you enough. It's not just a one-person show, as Chief Justice, you said. It's really all of us. So thank you. Okay. And stay. No, you cannot go. Tony has a few logistical.
Okay, just a couple of quick logistical.
Excuse me just a minute. Jim Tran.
Thank you. Okay.
You may proceed.
Excellent. So a couple of quick, so you have maps in your program, but just to kind of give you a general orientation, the Presidential Learning Center is this room. So any sessions that you want to attend that say Presidential Learning Center, that's right here. Directly out the door and make a left down the hallway, we have the Roosevelt and Jefferson rooms and the restrooms. And if you're going to one of the programs in either the Discovery Center or Air Force One, those are across the way. There's a giant building with an airplane in it. When you see the airplane, that's where you want to be. Now, all of the sessions are open for just kind of open enrollment. However, if you plan on attending one of the Discovery Center simulation activities, which are after lunch, there's 2 different sessions, we need you to sign up ahead of time because there are limited spaces, and we have a sign-up sheet located at our booth right over here. So please do that before you head out to your first session. There's also going to be a book signing with one of our scholars today. Lane Hirabayashi is going to be signing in the tent. So the lunch is going to be in the tent right across the way here. I say tent, but it's not a camping tent. It's a giant tent that can fit hundreds of people. And all of our student and school award winners will also have tables there where you can ask them more questions about the programs they have, the impact it's had on them. You can talk with their teachers and their administrators, and I urge you not to miss that opportunity. I think that's it. Other than that, I'm going to ask the Chief Justice and Alice to remain. We're going to take a photo with our Civic Learning Awards schools here. Other than that, everybody else, enjoy your day. We'll see you at lunch.